So maybe you're depression and anxiety and runaway train curious. Maybe you're at the point now where you're like, I get it, I understand the concepts, and I've heard what to do, but how do I know if this is actually something I'm facing?
All right, so that's why we are bringing at you a waterfall of questions on this minisode. So get in your canoe, get your oar in place, because we're about to go over that waterfall of questions right now.
We've had some really cool access to some really cool people, and we want to share it with you.
We have an amazing interview series of some of the interviews we've done with celebrities like Dr. Deborah Tillman, America's Super Nanny, Dr. Joseph McClendon III, famous neuropsychologist, former professor of UCLA. We've got Dr. Bruce Lipton, author of Beyond Belief, and we even have John Maxwell, the #1 leadership expert.
Your sisters want to bring you into the room with our most exclusive access. So go to kandshy.com. Right there on the homepage, you will see a button that says Get My Celebrity Interview Series, and we would love to share our access with you.
KAYANDSHI.com. We'll see you over there.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions.
You know, Shai, in our last mini-sode, we talked a little bit about the idea of allowing yourself space to feel emotions that are negative when they come up. And I want to bring up just really fast a concept from, God, we talk about him all the time, but he's just so good. Michael Singer's book, Living Untethered, where he talks about when we do this with emotions, it's like attempting to grab onto a waterfall. And if you think about the physical expression of grabbing, like if you're listening to this right now, if you're not driving, like do it with your fists. And if you're watching on the video, do it with us, right? Like grab, right? This is a very active, very tight feel. Now, if we're trying to do this to a waterfall, are we going to catch water? No, we're not. Now, if we are to open our hands like this, the water now pours over us and it's actually kind of enjoyable. And if we were to cup our hands and bring them flat and together, we can catch water and it can become an effective thing for us. But that holding, that unexamined gripping can grip us and allow that runaway train to destroy our emotional state.
So in order to stop gripping water, you might want to adjust your hands mentally, which means typically asking yourself questions, because you've probably heard us say it before, but your brain is the best supercomputer that was ever designed in the world, and it functions in somewhat of a binary way, just like a regular computer does. Even though a regular computer's binary code is zeros and ones, your brain's binary code is Q's and A's. It's always seeking to fulfill a question, to find a solution, to answer the thing. It's looking for this back and forth. Even if your inner narrative isn't necessarily structured in questions, it's still about pondering something and solving it, wondering what you're going to do and doing it, prioritizing your list and making the decision. It's all about this decision making, which comes down to questions. So when we are in that state and we're wondering, is this getting to the place where it's runaway? You can ask yourself questions like, do I spend a lot more time worrying than I have in the past?
Do I feel sad, empty, or hopeless often?
Have I lost interest in the things I used to enjoy?
Have I started to avoid spending time with friends and loved ones?
Do I worry about things I can't control to the point where I have a hard time thinking about anything else?
Do I become irritable or annoyed more quickly than I have in the past?
Do I often feel restless, on edge, or unable to relax?
Do I cycle through dark, unwanted, or fearful thoughts I can't seem to stop?
Is it difficult to fall asleep, get enough sleep, or wake up on time most days?
Have I noticed unexplained pain, tension, or other physical symptoms in my body?
Do these changes affect my daily life or relationships?
So this is a list of questions to consider. And if at any point you answered yes or maybe, take it from your sisters and just dive a little bit deeper. This is your signal to take the opportunity to maybe just see if this is something that's starting to gain momentum in your life.
I love that these questions are really about helping you identify your own level of measurement, right? We all feel different levels of worry. We all have this natural orientation of our personality around optimism or realism or even pessimism. We have these different natural ways of being that we are. But these questions allow us to just assess where I am now with who I know I want to be or who I am in my core. And that way we can see, are there major differences that allows you to, in your most empirical way possible, it's hard, you can't be objective with your own self, but you can try with questions like this, because once you are measuring a difference, you can start to see, ooh, I got five red flags here, right? Like, I am definitely struggling with my sleep. I am definitely having emotions carry me away about something where I can't stop it. I am definitely feeling restless and I'm not able to let go and relax. When you start, as Kay said, to see these things, it can be a signal for you to shift into some of those strategies we've been talking about earlier. But remembering the power of questions and remembering the power of assessing yourself based on who you are and who you want to be can be extremely helpful in orienting you towards getting the right care that you need.
And we care about you, which is why we're bringing this topic forward for you here on the Kay and Shy Show. We're excited to jump into tomorrow's minisode as we continue to expand this topic of runaway emotions.
This podcast was a production of Angel Fenix Productions. Explore more episodes of this show or other great shows on the Angel Fenix Podcast Network by visiting angelfenix.com. The views expressed in this show do not necessarily represent those of Angel Fenix Productions or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.